Louisiana French refers to the group of French dialects spoken in the U.S. state of Louisiana and formerly elsewhere in colonial Louisiana. It comprises several distinct varieties. Figures from the United States Census report that roughly 3.5% of Louisianans over the age of 5 reported speaking French or a French-based Creole in their homes. 7% of the population of the state understands and/or speaks French. The most widely spoken form of Louisiana French is Colonial French, also known as Louisiana French Choctaw of the Louisiana Creole people. It developed before the arrival of Acadian migrants during the Great Upheaval of the 18th century. Additionally, Louisiana Creole French is a related Creole language. Speakers of Louisiana French are not only the French Creole people but also the Chitimacha, Houma, Biloxi, Tunica, Choctaw, Cajun, Acadian and the French, among others. Individuals and groups of individuals, through innovation, adaptation and contact, continually enrich the French language spoken in Louisiana, seasoning it with linguistic features sometimes only found in Louisiana. Louisiana French today. As of 2011, there are an estimated 150,000 to 200,000 people in Louisiana who speak French. In comparison, there were an estimated 1 million native French speakers in Louisiana in about 1968. The dialect is now at risk of extinction as children are no longer taught it formally in schools. French in Louisiana media. French on Louisiana radio stations: KRVS 88.7, Radio Acadie, University of Louisiana at Lafayette, Louisiana. KBON 101.1 FM, Louisiana Proud, Eunice, Louisiana. Club 1600 AM, Golden Meadow, Louisiana. KLRZ 100.3 FM, Rajin, Cajun La Rose, Louisiana. KJF 1290 AM, Cajun Radio, Jennings, Louisiana. KLCL 1470 AM, Cajun Radio, Lake Charles, Louisiana. KVPI 1050 AM, Ville Platte, Louisiana. KVPI 92.5 FM, Ville Platte, Louisiana. French periodicals, newspapers, and publications: Les Editions Tintamarre, Centenary College of Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana. La Revue Louisianaise, University of Louisiana Lafayette. La Revue de la Louisiane, now defunct, was the journal launched by James R. Domingo. French on Louisiana Cable Networks DV5 Monde. Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Rosaries in French, KLFY TV 10, Lafayette. French in the community. French language masses in Louisiana: Our Lady of Fatima Roman Catholic Church, Lafayette, Louisiana. St. Martin de Tours Roman Catholic Church, St. Martinville, Louisiana. Recurring French language festivities, events: Festival International de Louisiane, April, Lafayette, Louisiana. Festivals Acadiens et Créoles, October, Lafayette, Louisiana. ALCFES. Francophone Open Microphone, Houma, Louisiana. La Table Française, Trois Café, Jefferson Street, Lafayette, Louisiana. La Table Française, Arnaudville, Louisiana. La Table Française, La Madeleine, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Creole Families Bastille Day Heritage Festival, Ville Platte, Louisiana. Weekend of July 14th, Civic Center. French film, Nuit Blanche, Baton Rouge, Louisiana State University Center for French and Francophone Studies, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Rendezvous des Cajuns, Liberty Theater, Eunice, Louisiana. Education. French language public school curriculum as of autumn 2011. Louisiana has French language total immersion, a bilingual French and English immersion in 10 parishes: Calcasieu, Avenue, Acadia, St. Landry, Street, Martin, Iberia, Lafayette, Assumption, East Baton Rouge, Jefferson, and Orleans. Students placed in the program begin in kindergarten or first grade and continue until high school. The curriculum in both the total French language immersion as well as in the bilingual program follows the same standards as all other schools in the parish and state. The Council for the Development of French in Louisiana recruits teachers locally and globally each year. Les Amis de l'Immersion, Inc. is the parent-teacher organization for students in French immersion in the state. Les Amis organizes summer camps, fundraisers and outreach for teachers, parents and students in the program. The immersion programs as of autumn 2011 are as follows: CODOFIL Consortium of Louisiana Universities and Colleges. The Consortium of Louisiana Universities and Colleges unites representatives of French programs in Louisiana universities and colleges, and organizes post-secondary level Francophone scholastic exchanges and provides support for university students studying French language and linguistics in Louisiana. Member institutions include these: Centenary College of Louisiana, Shreveport; Delgado Community College, New Orleans, Louisiana; Dillard University, New Orleans; Grambling State University, Grambling, Louisiana; Louisiana College, Pineville, Louisiana; Louisiana State University; Louisiana Tech University, Ruston, Louisiana; Loyola University, New Orleans; McNeese State University, Lake Charles, Louisiana; Nichols State University, Thibodaux, Louisiana; Northwestern State University, Natchitoches, Louisiana; Our Lady of Holy Cross College, New Orleans; Southeastern Louisiana University, Hammond, Louisiana; Southern University at Baton Rouge, Louisiana; Southern University at New Orleans, New Orleans; Tulane University, New Orleans; University of Louisiana at Lafayette; University of Louisiana at Monroe; University of New Orleans, New Orleans; Xavier University of Louisiana, New Orleans. Grammar. The grammar of Louisiana French is mostly the same as that of French spoken elsewhere in the world. There are, however, some syntactical features that were once present in the French-speaking world but remain present in Louisiana. The difference between j'étais après manger and j'étais après manger is in the spelling. There is no difference in pronunciation. Vocabulary. Lexically, Louisiana French differs little from other varieties of French spoken in the world. However, there are several lexical traits stemming from many linguistic origins. Some are unique to Louisiana French while others are shared sporadically throughout the Francophone world. Place names. Place names in Louisiana French usually differ from those in International French. For instance, locales named for American Indian tribes usually use the plural article before the name instead of the masculine or feminine singular article. Likewise, movement towards those locations uses the plural o before the place name. That vary by region. In Pierrepont, Louisiana, for example, the elderly have often been heard to say La Californie, La Texas, La Floride. People in Lafayette, Louisiana, also use articles in front of the state names. It depends which region and how well the person knows French. In informal Louisiana French, most U.S. states and countries are pronounced in English and therefore require no article. Informal Louisiana French, prefixed articles are absent but the names of the states and countries usually are in French. Contractions. In informal Louisiana French, contractions are often absent. Examples: JAI prize to les grandparents instead of standard asterisk JAI prize des grandparents. La lumière de la ciel instead of standard asterisk la lumière du ciel. Creole Influences. Francophones and Creolophones have worked side by side, lived among one another, and have enjoyed local festivities together throughout the history of the state. As a result, in regions where both Louisiana French and Louisiana Creole are used to be spoken, the inhabitants of the region often code switch, beginning the sentence in one language and completing it in another. Taxonomy. Taxonomies for classing Louisiana French have changed over time. Until the 1960s and 1970s, Louisianans themselves, when speaking in French, referred to the language as Français or Creole. In English, they referred to the language as Creole French and French simultaneously. In 1968, Lafayette native James Demengard, a U.S. representative, created the Council for the Development of French in Louisiana, whose mission was to oversee the promotion, visibility and expansion of French language usage in Louisiana. His mission was clear: create a European French bastion in Louisiana by making all Louisianans bilingual in international French and English. To accomplish his goals, he teamed up with political leaders in Canada and France, including former French President Georges Pompidou. Louisiana French, he found too limiting, so he imported Francophone teachers from Europe, Canada and the Caribbean to teach normative French in Louisiana schools. His penchant for international French caused him to lose support in Louisiana. Most Louisianans, if they were going to have French in Louisiana schools, wanted Louisiana French, not Parisian French. Simultaneously, an ethnic movement took root in South Louisiana led by Acadian Creoles like James Donald Falk, Dudley Joseph LeBlanc and Jules O'Daigle. James Donald Falk, a French teacher in Crowley, Louisiana, introduced using the term Cajun French for Acadian Creoles and French Creoles who identified as Cajun, for which he created a curriculum guide, or teacher and student manual for institutionalizing the language in schools in 1977. Roman Catholic priest Jules O'Daigle, who in 1984 published his Dictionary of the Cajun Language, followed him. Cajun French is intended to imply the French spoken in Louisiana by descendants of Acadians, an ethnic qualifier rather than a linguistic relationship. Linguists and social scientists then categorized Louisiana French into a tripartite system based on colonial class lines. Colonial French are plantation society French, Napoleonic French, Louisiana Creole French, and Acadian French, but the academic terms did not last long before quickly fading away. In 2009, Iberia Parish native and activist Christophe Landry introduced three terms representing lexical differences based on Louisiana topography: provincial Louisiana French, fluvial Louisiana French and urban Louisiana French. The same year, the Dictionary of Louisiana French, subtitled as Spoken in Cajun, Creole and American Indian Communities, was published. It was edited by a coalition of linguists and other activists. The title clearly suggests that the ethno-racial identities are mapped onto the languages, but the language, at least linguistically, remains shared across those ethno-racial lines. These are the academic taxonomies applied to categorizations of Louisiana French. With nationwide ethnicization came internal subdivisions that some of the state's inhabitants insist are ancestral varieties. As a result, it is not odd to hear the language referred to as French, Canadian French, Acadian French, Broken French, Old French, Creole French, Cajun French, and so on. Still other Louisiana Francophones will simply refer to the language as French, without qualifiers. Internally, two broad distinctions will be made: formal French and informal French. Formal French. Formal French is the language used in all administrative and ecclesiastic documents, speeches, and in literary publications. Also known as Urban Louisiana French, it is spoken in the urban business centers of the state. Those regions have historically been centers of trade, commerce, and contact with speakers of French from Europe. It would include New Orleans and its environs, Baton Rouge and its environs, St. Martinville and other once important francophone business centers in the state. ALF sounds almost identical to Standard International French, with pronunciation and intonation varying from European to North American. Informal French. This variety of Louisiana French, also known as Provincial Louisiana French of the country Creoles, has its roots in agrarian Louisiana, but it is now also found in urban centers because of urbanization beginning in the 20th century. Historically, along the prairies of southwest Louisiana, Francophone Louisianans were cattle grazers and rice and cotton farmers. Along the Basse and the Louisiana littoral, sugar cane cultivation dominated, and in many parishes today, sugar cultivation remains an important source of economy. In this variety, R is alveolar, not guttural. The O in words becomes or, and the vowels at the beginning and end of words are usually omitted. Likewise, E preceding an O frequently disappears in spoken informal LF altogether. The nasality and pitch is akin to pitch and intonation associated with provincial speech in Quebec. In terms of nasality, Louisiana French is similar to French spoken in Brussels, Paris, and Dakar. Among the varieties such as those is, however, a difference in stress, rhythm, articulation, timbre, form and sound fluctuations, and tone. The pitch of PLF and provincial Quebec French share a predominantly agricultural history, close contact with pre-Columbian peoples, and relative isolation from urbanized populations. Bayou Lafourche French. Particular mention should be made to the francophones of Bayou Lafourche, an interesting linguistic phenomenon here that is absent everywhere else in Louisiana. Some francophones along Bayou Lafourche pronounce the G and J in French as the English letter H, but others pronounce the two letters in the manner of most other francophones. Two theories exist to explain the feature. On the one hand, some activists and linguists attribute this feature to an inheritance of Acadian French spoken in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and other Canadian maritime provinces, a theory based entirely on observation of shared vocal features rather than the communities being linked by migration. On the other hand, it has been suggested that there may be a linguistic link to the Hispanophones living at the Mississippi River and Bayou Lafourche Junction, who were more numerous than the Acadians in the immediate vicinity. Interestingly, the Louisiana Creole spoken in Lafourche Parish in and around Crema, Choctaw, Bayou Boeuf and Chac-Bay contains the letters G and J, but they are voiced as they are in LC spoken elsewhere in the state and as the French spoken elsewhere, not as the aspirated H's in Lower Bayou Lafourche French. Music. Musically, Louisiana French has been the traditional language for singing music now referred to as Cajun, Zydeco, and Louisiana French rock. Today, Old French music, Creole stomp, and Louisiana French rock remain the only three genres of music in Louisiana using French instead of English. In Cajun, most artists have expressions and phrases in French in songs, predominantly sung in Louisiana English. Healing practices. Medicine men and women, or healers called traiteurs in French, are still found throughout the state. During the rituals for healing, they use secret French prayers to goddess saints for a speedy recovery. These healers are mostly Catholic and do not expect compensation or even thanks, as it is said that then, the cure will not work. Infrastructure, signage, packaging, and documentation in French exists throughout the state, beginning in the 1990s, when cultural and ethnic tourism proved a lucrative enterprise, luring large numbers of Francophones to Louisiana. State and local tourism bureau commissions were influential in convincing city, parish, and state officials to produce bilingual signage and documentation. French and English bilingual signage is therefore usually confined to the old districts of cities, like the French Quarter in New Orleans, downtown Lafayette, New Iberia, St. Martinville, Breaux Bridge, and several other cities. Locals continue to refer to the place names in English, and for postal services the English version is generally preferred. To meet the demands of a growing Francophone tourist market, tourism bureaus and commissions throughout the state, particularly in southern Louisiana, have information on tourist sites in both French and English. Similarly, the state government passed measures in 2011 to provide Louisiana French language services at the governmental level, with particular mention to cultural tourism and local culture and heritage. The legislative act was drafted and presented by Francophone and Francophile senators and representatives. It asserts that the French language is vital to the economy of the state. Accordingly, the bill sets forth that each branch of the state government shall take necessary action to identify employees who are proficient in French. Each branch of the state government is to take necessary steps in producing services in the Louisiana French language for both locals and visitors. This bill is, however, an unfunded state mandate.